Maryland football takes many hits in blowout loss to Ohio State. The Maryland football team reached its nadir midway through the third quarter in Saturday's 62-3 loss to Ohio State, when the Terrapins' offense was forced to take the field while Buckeyes fans laid siege to their home stadium. They chanted "Ohio" for several minutes, adding a depressing soundtrack to Maryland's worst Big Ten loss since joining the league in 2014. The previous worst stood as a record for all of a week. Maryland had thought last week's 56-point loss to Michigan was an outlier, an aberration. And Maryland coach DJ Durkin had been optimistic that his team would put together a more competitive showing at home. But Ohio State only hammered out a new rock bottom for Maryland. Durkin could only kneel and shake his head after Ohio State quarterback J.T. Barrett made it 42-3 with an 8-yard pass to Donner Wilson just before halftime. By that point, Barrett had more touchdowns, 4, than Maryland had rushing yards, 2, yards per play, 2.1, or points. Barrett finished 18 for 27 for 253 yards and 2 touchdowns, adding 2 more scores with his feet as Maryland's young and depleted defense allowed 581 total yards and 7.3 yards per play. "It's really difficult. It sucks losing," Maryland left tackle Michael Dunn said. "We have to keep fighting and get ourselves out of it." The 5th-ranked Buckeyes, 9-1, 6-1 Big Ten, scored 2 touchdowns within the first 6 minutes, courtesy of a 2-yard touchdown run by running back Curtis Samuel and another 4-yard scoring run by Barrett. Maryland's hopes of staying competitive devolved into a recurring nightmare on the ensuing drive after senior quarterback Barry Hills injured his left shoulder on a 3rd down hit. Hills, who has now been knocked out of 4 games this season and is questionable again for next week's game at Nebraska, was again replaced by senior Caleb Rowe, who finished just 7 for 13 for 97 yards and an interception before being pulled in the second half in favor of freshman Tyrrell Pagrom. Maryland's offense posted just 176 total yards and went 1 for 15 on 3rd down conversion attempts. The afternoon began on an ominous note, with Durkin announcing less than an hour before kickoff that he had indefinitely suspended 3 freshmen, running back Lorenzo Harrison, wide receiver DJ Turner and linebacker Ron'Twan Brooks for violation of the Student-Athlete Code of Conduct. Harrison is the team's 2nd leading rusher with 633 yards, 57 from breaking the program's freshman rushing record set by Lamont Jordan in 1997. The absences hardly mattered in the grand scheme of the loss, but they brought a black eye to a celebrated rookie class that has provided bursts of energy all season. Durkin didn't comment on the nature of the suspensions after the loss but admitted that it served as a distraction. Maryland players also said that they could feel the absence of the 3 rookies. "Obviously we needed them," senior wide receiver Teldrick Morgan said. Maryland, 5-5, 2-5 tried to manufacture new energy this week after last week's 59-3 loss in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Durkin shuffled the defensive depth chart and held auditions for starting spots across the roster. The team unveiled sleek new red uniforms, hoping the new designs could help inspire a hostile environment for one of the country's best teams. But while the well-traveled Ohio State fans made up a large chunk of the 48,090 in attendance, the scattered Maryland fans were left to watch the most demoralizing loss of Durkin's first season. The most promising sequence of the day came after Rowe took over for Hills, leading Maryland on a 12-play, 76-yard march to the Ohio State 1-yard line. Rowe appeared to break the plane for a touchdown on a quarterback draw play on 3rd and goal, but officials ruled him down after a review. Durkin decided to go for it on 4th and goal, but Maryland committed a false start on the play and opted to kick a field goal instead.